Greetings, everybody, gentlemen, guys. Welcome back. Welcome everybody back. This is kind of like a launch, a relaunch, a rebranding, or however you want to call it. Of the FCS Prep Podcast. I am still your host, Dr. Keith Fairclough. That has not changed. But before, when we were doing podcasts, we were talking about, making sure that we love ourselves, unconditional love, understanding the principles behind personal responsibility, and then also understanding the power of excellence, right? And we kind of branched off into a lot of other different things as well, tied into that, emotions and perspectives and not giving up and things of that along those lines. But we're shifting gears now, right? We're not moving away from the mission, but we are shifting gears. I want to really hone in on men, and I want to hone in on relationships. I did kind of tell you guys I was going to start doing that in some of my previous videos. Now's the time. Today's the day. So, before we go any further, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because I want you to stay tuned in. Because what I'm about to do to this industry, to this world, is going to be crazy. I'm going to flip this thing upside down and be disrupting all types of industries and stereotypes across the world. Because for too long, we as men have been bound. We have been subjugated. We have been suppressed. We have been oppressed. And there might be someone out there thinking, like, what are you talking about, right? Men are in all these leadership positions and men, do this, they do that, and they run family, they run everything. What do you mean suppressed? See, that's the issue. That's the problem. That's the fallacy that happens in this world. We look on the outside, but yeah, we don't realize that the outside does not necessarily dictate what's going on the inside. And so in this podcast, in this series, we're going to break all of that down. And we're going to be going in the name of this series. It's going to be for the next 12 weeks or so. It's going to be called What is a Man? And we're going to touch on so many different topics, so many different areas of manhood so that we as men know exactly who we are. There's no second guessing. It's one of the saddest things to sit across from a man and he doesn't even know what it is to be a man. He is one. He doesn't even know how to be one. Right. And I'll be honest, I was there as well. Right. Because we believed a lot of these misconceptions that we'll go over in a minute. But we believe a lot of these misconceptions and we don't essentially kind of fit the mold of what the world says a man should be. What happens then? We don't feel like men. We don't feel like, man, we belong. Or we don't feel like, anything. Like it's like we're contributing. We don't feel like we deserve anything. Right. And so we start. And again, we're going to go into all of that. We're going to go into all of that. But we're here to free men. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Once we start freeing men, you're going to see a massive change, not only in just society as a whole, but you're going to see it in your families, in your relationships. We're going to see it across the board with our kids, in our communities, in the boardroom, at the workplace, in the community. You're going to see it's going to be different. It's going to be completely and totally other. Make sure you stay tuned, right? I have a lot of content we're pouring into and pouring out. And for all of those like, man, I really came here to learn about unconditional love and personal responsibility and excellence and all that stuff like that. Listen, that's all part of it, right? That's the foundation. If you watch the videos, I told you even back then, this stuff that I'm talking about is foundational, right? It props everything else up. So we're not going to be straying away from the mission too much, but we got to target people. We got to talk about like real life people, right? Like a real audience. And we got to talk about men. And again, you've seen some of my shorts I've been putting out recently. It's been about relationships. We're going to talk about relationships too, because the number one issue that a lot of guys come to session with is relationships. Even if they come for something else, invariably relationships come into the mix. I would say like 95 or not even 90, maybe 97 or 98% of the men that I work with, we dive into relationships as well. Yeah, and the other, 2 to 3%, we eventually dive into relationships. So that's a real important factor. So we're going to touch on that. We're going to get into that. Again, probably not deeply into this series. We'll touch on some different aspects of it, but for the most part, what we're going to be doing is in this series is talking about what it is to be a man. So without further ado, let's hop into it. What is a man? If you have an idea of that, and this isn't the whole, Matt Walsh thing, his whole video, what is a woman? It's not that. This is a legit question. Ask yourself, and even put it down in the chat before we even go further. What is a man? In your mind, what do you think a man is? What traits does he have? What does he do? How does he operate? How does he operate with other people? What is a man? From biologically speaking, naturally speaking, a man is just an adult male that has an X and a Y chromosome. Biologically speaking, very simply, of course. That's what a man is. A man is an adult male who has an X and a Y chromosome. I know there's a lot of people out there, with different agendas and things like that, think it's just the way you think. It's not. You have to have an X and Y chromosome to be a man. That's just what it is, right? So, with that being said, there is more to it than that, right? There's definitely more to it than that. But let me pose another question to you guys. Are men just born, or are men made? Now I'm talking about going beyond the biology, right? Are men just born, or are men made? Is there some type of, rites of passage or something like that we have to accomplish before we actually cross over into manhood? Or are we just men out the gate? Again, put comments in below if you have thoughts on that, right? If you think that there's some type of rite of passage you have to go through before you can be a man, like chop down a tree, go hunt and kill an animal, go to war, whatever it is, whatever you think that might is, put it down in the chat below, right? So we all can interact. I'll share with you how I see this question, right? The answer to this question. And the way I see it is that men are born. Point blank, period. Men are born. We're not made. There's no rite of passage. And the reason why I came to that, I remember I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was talking about, boys going through a rite of passage to become men. And I was thinking about that. And then I started thinking, I'm like, but wait a minute. Who decides when a boy can become a man? Where does he get this authority from? And who gave him that authority? And who said that that's the way things are supposed to go? Like, who created this? Very inquisitive with this. I didn't ask him. I just heard him out. But I was thinking to myself after this. And then I started thinking, like, well, you might think, if it was like in the villages and things like that, back at the village chief, and then how does he know that it's right? Because he's an elder and he knows. But how? Where's his template? Where's his objective truth that you're not born a man, you have to do something to become a man? Where did he get that from? And the more I started asking that question, the more I realized there's not one person on this planet or other man on this planet that can tell you whether or not you're a man or not. As far as like, I hold the keys to the gate, and you have to come this way and do this thing in order for me to bestow my blessings of manhood on you. Like, there's no one on this planet that can do that. Not in the history of mankind, there's no one that can do that. Period. Point blank, end the discussion. Why? Because there has to be some type of ultimate objective truth power that bestows that and says, yeah, this is something that is true. This is something that has to happen. This is something that changes a boy to a man. And so the fact of the matter is, there's no one on the planet that does that. And this is no disrespect to, whether it's disrespectful or not, I don't care. Honestly, there's no one that can do that. I don't care about your religion, your culture, your society. I really don't care. Your color of your skin, the region you live in, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you right now, I don't care how old you are either, you do not have the right to tell someone whether they're a man or not. Why? Because we're born men. That's it. The whole monikers of being a child or a boy or adolescent or a baby or an infant or any of that stuff like that, those don't say what you are. That simply says what stage of development you're in. That's it. That's all it means, right? So if you're an infant, if you're a toddler, if you're a child, if you're school aged, if you're an adolescent, if you're a teenager, these are just stages of development. But stages of development for what? Stages of development of a man and also a woman. It's just stages of development. But you're born a man. The moment you come out the womb, or the moment you're conceived, the moment that sperm penetrates that egg and that X and Y chromosome show up, that's it. You were a man. Instantly qualified. Just like that. When God made Adam, he was a man. He didn't have to go climb a tree. He didn't have to go swim across the ocean. God made him, and he was a man. That was it. It's the same thing for us, guys. There's no qualifying thing. There's no rites of passage. There's no walking across fiery coals. There's no slaying a dragon, or there's none of that. It's none of that. We're born men. Period. Point blank. End of discussion. That's it. We are born men. The only difference between maybe one man and another is experience. That's it. That's the only difference. The only difference between a baby and a grown man is experience. That's the only difference. There is no other difference across the board. So the whole idea of this is, sir, you don't have to do anything to become a man. You are already a man. You come fully equipped to be a leader, provider, and protector out the gate. You come installed with that, pre-installed with that. There's a reason why we don't feel comfortable just sitting at home doing nothing. There's a reason why if there is a man that's sitting at home doing nothing, and that's not part of the plan that him and his wife have agreed to for whatever reason, that's a problem. There's something wrong in that man. Why? Because he's going against his natural programming. We as men, I've seen it time and time again, experience it time and time again. If we can't provide, if we can't contribute, we don't feel good. Why? Because it's part of our programming. And when we deviate from our programming, it doesn't feel good. It feels awkward. It feels strange. I don't like this. So I say all this to say, like, we come pre-programmed with these things. We are born men. And so my goal here is to help mentor men and help you understand and get that experience and get those skills and get all of that so you can be the fully actualized man that God has designed you to be. I'm going to throw away all the trash out there in the world. We're going to throw away all these garbage stereotypes. We're going to tear them all down. And we're going to be the man that God has called us to be. We're going to have the relationships that God has called us to have. And we're going to overcome all of this foolishness out there in the world. And you're going to recognize and realize that, dang, yeah, I am him. I am that guy. Right? And I don't have to prove that to anybody. So let me hop into a few misconceptions that is placed on us by societies and religions and cultures and all these things like that. Some misconceptions about what it means to be a man, right? And I'm going to read off a list, right? So some of these misconceptions are that, okay, men got to be aggressive. Men got to be emotionless. Can't feel nothing, right? You can't have any emotional wants, needs, or desires, right? You don't need emotional space, right? You just want respect, and you just operate in logic, right? Like these are some of the things, we're driven by sex. Like that's the number one thing we want. If all we have is sex, like we're going to be fine, right? We want money and power and things like that. Like these are some of the misconceptions that are out there. Right? Like we have to do everything alone, right? We can't ever ask for help because you're not a real man if you ask for help. We got to be dominating, and we're all about competition and all these things like that. Like these are just some of the misconceptions that are out there, right? Like these are some of the misconceptions that are continuously reinforced on our children, on our young boys who are just being inundated with, this is what it means to be a man. This is what it means to be a man. This is what it means to be a man. This is what it means to be a man. By all of these misconceptions, you got to sleep with a lot of women. If you sleep with a lot of women, yeah, you're that guy. Like these are common misconceptions that are bred in society, bred in cultures, bred in regions, bred in religions. There's all these types of things, and they are killing us. They're killing us on a regular basis. Men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide because of these misconceptions. Can't open up and share. These misconceptions are destroying us, and not just us. They're destroying our relationships. They're destroying our families. They're destroying our children. They're destroying our communities. They're destroying our governments. They are destroying us, killing us in the worst ways. Some other misconceptions about being a man is you don't have value if you don't make enough money. If you can't provide for the whole family, if you're not tall enough or have the muscles or the power or position, or if you open up and need help, like you're not as valuable as somebody else or some other alpha chat or other type of garbage they have out there. Like you're not as good as them. You're not as valuable in the dating marketplace and things like that. This is the garbage we're being fed on a regular basis. Here's the worst part about it. We open our mouth and receive it and eat 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 it. That same mess, that same garbage, that same trash that it keeps killing us, and we just keep eating it. It's all a lie. It's garbage. It's foolishness. It's trash. Anybody who portrays that, you are a fool. I'm saying that right now. Listen, the gloves are off. What you saw in the previous podcast is going to be a whole different thing now. Anyone out here portraying any of these negative stereotypes is a fool, a dummy, an idiot, not wise, not smart. I'm telling you right now, if you believe in all your heart, I'm not talking about someone who, that's all I know, Keith, that's all I know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you literally know better, and instead of telling people how to do it right, you continue to feed people wrong just so you can benefit. Absolutely not. No, I'm coming for your neck for real, man. So I'm telling you right now, these are lies. I was going to ask a question like, do y'all believe this is true? No, these are lies. What I want y'all to do in the comments right now, but I want y'all to put stuff down in the comments right now about any lie that you've been told and you've been fed by maybe your father, maybe your uncles, maybe the boys in the neighborhood, maybe people at school, maybe people in your community, maybe in your religion, maybe in your culture. I want you to put down the lies that have been told to you that are holding you back, destroying your life, destroying your health, destroying your marriage, destroying your family. I want y'all to put that stuff down there, because I'm telling you right now, there are a lot of lies I was believing that almost destroyed my marriage, that almost lost my kids. I almost lost myself. So I say all this to say, y'all stick around. Listen, we're trying to go into it. It's going to be completely different. I'm telling you right now, therapist hats off. I'm just going to keep it real and raw with you guys, because listen, there's lives on the line right now. There's no time to waste, and I'll be honest, this has been too long in the making. And I apologize if I take so long to get it out there to you. But there are lives on the line right now. I know what it's like to be on that brink and look into the darkness like, dang, I don't want to come back. I'm tired. I know what it's like to look over that. And I know there are other men who are on that edge right now. And if we don't pull them back, they're going to kill themselves. They're not going to make it. So we got to get this stuff out here. So I'm going to tell you right now, I want y'all to share this with someone you care about. Share it with your men's group. Share it with your friends. Share it with your father, your uncle, your cousin. Share it with your boys, your basketball team, your football. Share it with somebody. Share it with somebody. All right, because we're out here to save lives. We're out here to save relationships. We're out here to save our community. Dang it, we're out here to save the world. All right, so y'all come back. I'm telling you, it's going to be even more, right? Next time, we're going to come back. We're going to start talking about those three roles I talked about. Leader, provider, protector. We're going to go into it. We're going to have a brief overview of each one and all that it entails, because one of the things that we've also been told is that it's really surface level. To lead means to make decisions. To provide means to make money. And to protect means to keep everyone physically safe. I'm telling you right now, guys, it's a lot deeper than that. There's a lot more to that. And I'm going to instruct you and give you guys the lowdown on all that so you can operate at your max capacity. So y'all take care, have a great, awesome, and blessed day, and remember, y'all keep coming back for real change right now.